All right, guys. So we got Maryah here, who is actually one of my first clients. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Maryah. We've been working together for the past like 5 months, I think, and she's down pretty much almost 40 pounds since we started. So absolutely huge progress. I guess I just want to ask, where were you at, before joining the program? And then where would you say you're at right now?
Before joining the program, I was doing a lot of yo-yo dieting. So, I think at one point I was fasting to an extreme point. So, for a little bit of context, I would drink just water and work out, but it was only cardio.
Mm-hmm.
And on the third day, if I just couldn't wake up because I noticed that while I was doing the fasting, it's just I was really tired and all I wanted to do was sleep.
Yeah.
Um, I would eat like pieces of fruit and then continue the fast. It wasn't very sustainable, let alone healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I decided to stop that, all of the weight just kind of really piled on really, really quickly in a really short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, I lost it doing that in a really short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was still trying to, calorie count and everything, but it wasn't the best because I was going in it blind. So I was still going to the gym, but again, I didn't know what to do or how to go about it. So I would go to the gym 2 days out of the week, and I limited my calories to 1,100 a day.
Wow.
I didn't cut out any junk food or anything. It was okay, but not something I wanted to do for the long run because 1,100 calories is very, very little.
Yeah. That's like for toddlers, not even, I feel like.
Yeah, so I was really struggling with, my mental health, my physical health and everything. And when I came across your page, at this point I'm pushing 270, almost 300 pounds. And I'm on the way there. And it took me a while to reach out actually before I submitted the whole um
Application.
application.
Mm-hmm.
I spent about a week or two thinking about it and if it was going to
Yeah.
be the right thing for me because I don't have the best track record in starting something and finishing, which is
Mm-hmm.
why it led to a lot of yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
Um, I came to a conclusion where, like, I'm not happy with myself. I really want to make a change, but that change isn't just gonna completely happen overnight. So I knew what I
Magically
was,
appear.
yeah, a part of me was hoping that, and it's unrealistic, but I knew it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, I decided to fill out the application and see where it went.
Mm.
And I think at that point, I even kind of expressed it to you that I don't even know if this is right for me. I have a
Yeah.
lot of doubts.
I remember that.
And yeah, and I'm like really scared to even start, let alone to see if I would finish it because your program isn't cheap. So that's also something that really stressed me out if it was going to be worth it, if I was just going to start it and like stop.
Mm-hmm.
Um, since then, I have lost, like you said, close to 40 pounds in a very short amount of
Crazy.
time. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also like it's short, but it's a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't really expect myself to lose the weight that fast, um, which was exciting to see, but now it also kind of makes me wonder what my fat loss and my weight loss is kind of portraying, if that makes sense. Like I know my results won't be the same as somebody else's, but
Mhm.
I'm kind of interested in seeing how mine just kind of works rather than the next person.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And yeah, so just to kind of break all of that down, thank you for sharing, Maryah.
Mhm.
I know you mentioned you were kind of in that yo-yo dieting, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. They restrict their calories, like you said, they're doing a ton of cardio, but it's like you said, yeah, you may lose some fat, but it's not really sustainable. And that's why they always find themselves, piling the weight back on and then just, feeling frustrated with themselves. And so that's why I think when you came into the program and you really started to do more sustainable methods. You started weightlifting, which is really important in a fat loss journey, to build muscle. You started eating more protein. You had something just so much more sustainable, and I feel like that's why you've seen like such good results. So I think like you always kind of had that discipline because you were always trying these things. It was just about giving you the right structure, the right plan. And so once you
Mhm.
had that, you could really stick to it. And so, yeah, that's amazing, Mariah. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to touch a little bit about, what would you say is the biggest change that you've made throughout this entire program, or maybe one thing that you learned and picked up and now you're really doing?
One thing I probably changed was my diet and my mindset when it comes to going to the gym. Because
Yeah.
before it would be like 2 days out of the week, to it just being nothing at all. And then, working with you and actually getting a structure of a daily routine of what I would do in the gym and how often I would go. I'm gonna be completely honest, I was terrified when it came to doing weights because somebody, and this was like a teacher, they told me that doing weights while you're overweight is not the best because you turn that fat into muscle. And that's something that I just kind of stayed with me and just kind of
Yeah.
terrified me. But, I stuck it out and I'm like, what's the harm? If something happens, I'm sure we can always alter the plan.
Hmm.
Um, but it doesn't hurt in trying. And I think that's something that really resonates with me as a person.
Hmm.
I'm always willing to try something once. If it doesn't work out, then I just move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why you've seen like such good results, because when you get a coach, like when you're doing a program, it kind of requires a lot of things like mindset shifts, because
Hmm.
obviously you want a different outcome. So you have to be willing to change things. And sometimes people are a little bit hesitant because, they're stuck in their ways. But if you just like put trust in your coach, put trust in the person you're working with, you can see like, oh, wow, like, okay, this actually works. And it's actually really benefiting me. And I'm really glad, you put your trust in me and have kind of been seeing results, obviously, also in the gym, like weightlifting. I guess I want to touch a little bit about on, your relationship with food, kind of maybe like binge eating in the past, overly eating on junk food in the past. And like, how would you say your relationship with food has changed now?
It definitely healed my relationship with food. I know I still have a long way to go,
Hmm.
but it went from me being completely terrified to eat and not wanting to eat
Hmm.
to, binging and snacking all throughout the day within like separate hours and just kind of giving in to late night cravings and just piling on the food and everything to now being more controlled
Hmm.
and kind of spreading out the meals to make sure that I'm full throughout the day. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the time I was always eating when I was bored.
Hmm.
I was always eating when I was like suffering emotionally.
Yeah.
So regardless of what reason, I would always turn to food for
Yeah.
comfort. And it's something that I'm glad I was able to, I guess fix and work with
Hmm.
rather than going into an extreme, diet plan.
Yeah.
Like I
Restriction.
yeah, and I've tried all of them. I've tried paleo, I've tried keto, all of them. It's just it was not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's never about, restricting certain foods or thinking that certain foods are evil. It's about learning how to fit them into your life. And also, like you mentioned, being able to better manage your emotions. That's one of the triggers we talk about. Boredom is one of them, stress is one of them. And yeah, Mariah, I'm really, really happy everything's starting to get like a lot better. We're healing your relationship with food, and that makes me really happy to hear. Awesome. Okay. And I guess just my last question for you, Mariah, is what advice would you give to someone who maybe, let's say, they're stuck right now in the position that you were before, and maybe they're thinking about joining, the Binge Breakthrough Academy, but they just don't know. Like, what would you say to them?
It's better to reach out for help knowing you need the help rather than staying in the same place you've always been and not, trying to help yourself get out of there. Um, Keep an open mind take things with a grain of salt, but also caution. If you think that this is something like your program or something that you want to do, then that has to be their choice to make sure that they're ready for it.
Mhm.
They are going to be disciplined with themselves and keep themselves accountable, as well as it never hurts trying something new. I think
Yeah,
that's the one thing people also struggle with. If they see something new and they're very like set in their ways in their comfort zone,
yeah,
and that I'm one of those people, so it really took a lot out of me, but take time to think it over. If you need to talk to someone about it, talk to someone, but at the end of the day, it is for you, it's for your health, and it's your decision.
yeah. I I love that so much, Mariah. And I know you had mentioned, earlier in the interview how you said like, yeah, you were a little bit hesitant, but then you took 2 weeks to really think on it, and you jumped right in, and that's why you saw such good results. So yeah, I fully agree. It's never about just like pressuring someone to do something they don't want to do, but kind of like helping them make the right choice. And is it even the right choice for them? Because
Mhm.
there's definitely people that, maybe they aren't really a good fit for the program, or I just, I don't want to work with them for whatever reason. So it definitely is kind of a two-way street, making sure they're a good fit and also really helping them make the best decision. So yeah, I think I made a really good decision having you in the academy, and I hope that you think that you made a good decision as well. So yeah, Maryah, it was a pleasure talking to you. And do you have anything you want to, leave the viewer with, or anything you want to mention?
Um, I think it's just always important to keep your head up because if you were in a position, where I was, where you were when, it does get better. It just takes time.
Yeah, I love that so much. And just to kind of, add on to that with Maryah, I fully agree. It doesn't matter. Like, I know sometimes things may seem like really dark, and maybe you are binge eating every day right now, and it feels like your relationship with food is never going to get better. But you know, Maryah and both me and everyone in the program are like living proof things can get better. It takes time. It's not like you're going to snap your fingers and it's going to get better in like one day, but it takes time. It's a journey, but things will get better. So if you guys, need any extra support, feel free to reach out. I'm sure you can also reach out to Maryah. I'll leave her tag in the description. She's amazing. She's just so sweet and nice, and she'll definitely reach out and give some kind words. And yeah, feel free to ask her anything about the program as well. But yeah, guys, know things are going to get better. And if you are interested in joining the Binge Breakthrough Academy, you can just shoot me a DM or click the first link in the description. And thank you guys so much for watching the interview with Maryah.